G'day everybody. Some of the YouTube videos that I make are made as a result of the questions that I receive. Quite often people will ask me, can you do a video on this or can you do a video on that? I've had a few people asking me if I could do a video on how to tie a loop knot, which is something I've done recently. But something I've never actually asked to make a video on, but something I receive a lot of questions about, is how do you get involved in the fishing industry? People ask me, how do you get to be a fishing reporter for various magazines and stuff like that? How do you get started in doing what I do and what other people before me have done? In this video I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step instructions pretty much on how to be a fishing presenter or a fishing journalist or just a freelance fishing journalist, which is what I call myself, or just how to be a public figure in the fishing industry. How do you get started? How do you do it? Let me explain. Firstly, very first step, contact your favourite magazine and ask them. If you like reading Freshwater Fishing magazine because you like the content that's in it and you want to be a part of it, contact Freshwater Fishing or Australian Fishing Network. Ask to speak to the editor for that magazine, which is Bill Klassen. He actually owns it and edits it, and he will send out something to you explaining what he wants, how he wants it, how to write, etc, etc. If you like Northeast Angler Fishing magazine and you want to be a reporter, do the same thing. Contact Bairnsdale Advertiser, who distribute Northeast or who produce Northeast Angler, and tell them, introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you do, what you want to do, what your goals are, and they will tell you what they want from you, and then you just write away and you send the report in. Fishing Monthly magazine's the same. It could be other magazines that I'm not affiliated with, Modern Fishing or Bream, Barra and Bass. If I wanted to write for, say, Bream, Barra and Bass, I've never caught a bream, I've never caught a barra, and I've caught about 2 bass in my life. But say I wanted to write a story for them about something a bit more generic related. The first thing I would do is open the cover of Bream, Barra and Bass. I'd look for some contact details. They might have a Facebook page, I don't know. It's AFN, no, I'm not sure who owns it. NAFA, N-A-F-A. I think it could be Northern Australian Fishing Association or something, I don't know, but NAFA own them. I would contact NAFA. I would look in the magazine. I'd see who the producer is, or the editor. I'd just look for any kind of contact details, and I would contact them. I'd say, my name's Robbie Alexander. I'm a freelance fishing presenter or fishing journalist down in Victoria. I mainly cover redfin, trout, Murray cod and yellow belly, but I like to do this, that and the other, and this is what I'd like to write for you. I'd like to write an article on photography, how to take fish photos. They would then say to me whether they're interested. They may say, yes, we'd love it. We want 1,500 words and some great photos, and we want you to explain this, we want you to explain that. Then I'd do what they want, and then I'd send the article in. So they may not like it, in which case they won't buy it off me and I've done all the work for nothing. And you do get knockbacks, and I've had a lot of knockbacks over the years. But the biggest tip for any people just starting out, particularly young people, is look for the smaller magazines like Northeast Angler or something like that, or Fishing Monthly. Become a reporter. See if you can write a report for your area. If there's already somebody covering your area, then you say, well, can I send in a feature article? I want to write about catching Murray cod on rainy winter's days. And then you send it in. And then they might say yes or no. They might say that'd be a great feature. Then you might type it and send it in. Then they might not like it. They might send it back and say, look, the spelling's terrible, the punctuation's woeful, can you tidy it up and send it in, and we need some high quality photos. And then you might say, I haven't got any high quality photos. I can't read and write properly, and you might give up there and then. Or you might do something about it and go to learn how to read and write properly and then tidy up on your literacy skills. But basically that's how you do it. You choose the magazine you want to write for, you contact them, you tell them what you want to do, and then you follow their directions, and most of them you'll find are happy to take new writers on board. But which writers are they going to choose? Are they going to choose any old writer off the street? Absolutely not. There's things you need to be. If you want to be a freshwater fishing writer for a magazine, you need to be a good fisherman. You don't have to be an expert. They don't want experts. You don't have to be an expert, but you need to have enough knowledge to know what it is that you're talking about. You need to be able to catch fish on a regular basis, or you're just going to lose the respect of your readership straight away. You need to be able to write. There's no good sending an article in if it's in gibberish. It's got to be in plain English, and it's got to be reasonably well punctuated. They have editors to tidy up all your grammatic errors and stuff like that, but you want to try and get it as close to you as you can, because the better your writing and your punctuation and everything is, the less work you create for the editors and the sub-editors, and the more likely it is that you're going to get your stories printed on a more regular basis. And most importantly, you have to be able to take photos. If you just take a couple of happy snaps of your mates and a blurry fish and their head's all blurred but the fins are sharp and you send it in, they don't want it. They're not going to print it. They want good quality photos. So you need to be a good fisherman, but not an expert. You need to be a good writer, but not an author, because there's editors that'll fix your mistakes, but you want to be reasonably good. And you need to be able to take a good photo. But you don't have to be the paparazzi and take the A-grade photo of Claudia Schiffer as she's climbing out of her pink limousine with a short skirt on. You just need to be able to take a decent, high-resolution, printable image. Something that's not too contrasty or not something that's not too blurry and out of focus. So you want to be a good all-rounder. I guess in cricket you've got specialist batsmen, just like we've got specialist fishermen. You've got specialist bowlers, just like we've got fantastic photographers. And you've got specialist all-rounders at bat, bowl and field. And that's what I am. I fish, write and photograph. I'm an expert at none, but I've got skills in all. Does that make sense? Well, I hope so. I will tell you right now that there are plenty of fishermen around this area, northeast Victoria, that could outfish me any day of the week. I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert. If I'm an expert, I'd rather say that I'm an expert communicator, not an expert fisherman, because I can communicate better than anybody else I know. I can just go and talk to everybody. I can talk to a big audience. I just emceed a wedding on the weekend and loved being the centre of attention because I can communicate. That's my skill. But there's better fishermen out there that may not be able to communicate. There's better photographers around than me that probably can't catch fish. I don't know. The more knowledge you've got, the more articles you can write. So it's great to research. And speaking of research, with a lot of your more technical articles, you need to research. Because you need to be able to know what it is that you're talking about. Because I can tell you firsthand, because I've seen it a dozen times, journalists that come along and bullshit in their articles don't last. They get no feedback. The magazines they write for probably get feedback. And therefore they makes them a little bit reluctant to print their next article. So you really want to make sure your articles are as factual as possible. There's no doubt that some of the stuff I've printed in has probably been under scrutiny by some people who have probably looked at it and said, no, he's not right here or he's not right there. But on the whole, the stuff that I put into my magazine articles is pretty close to where it should be. Nobody's perfect, folks. Make sure you can read, write and fish and take photos, contact your magazine, send it in, and good luck with it all. That's a great rewarding thing to do. I love it.